I never felt like I needed to go and do something behind his back. You know, it was very open. So he did his things with his friends. He had his girlfriends. I had my guy friends, you know, and I was used to that. So when I got into this relationship, which was a year after I broke up with my previous one, I kind of saw that he was showing signs of that. And I was kind of like, I don't know how I'm feeling this, because I didn't want to be with somebody who felt threatened just because I had guy friends.
Dude, I think of that. I think our whole lives are scripted, and I can go on like an hour tangent of how I think that we're part of a simulation. But
I believe that too.
I'm not going to bore y'all, but I think that everything is like, man, I would never believe in signs like that until my best friend passed away. When he passed away, like literally the day after.
Oh, I've seen the picture.
He passed away near, like in my neighborhood. Like he was coming back towards my house and he lost control, hit a tree, whatever. But you know, it was in my neighborhood. I pass it every single time I have to go in that direction. Mm-hmm. Like it's like I always put gas by there, but it's like that's just like it's the street that I have to go down. Like I can go any other street, I can go around, but it's so inconvenient. It's literally the most convenient. And I remember the day after, it was raining, and I had come back and I visited the tree, and I looked up and there was a huge rainbow that peaked right over where the tree was. And I'm like, yo, and then everyone's like, oh, that's Jose, that's your friend. I'm like, well, it's probably a coincidence. But then as time went on, we would call him Coins. Because when we were in a fraternity, we had to pay dues. Like there was I think it was like $300, $350. Yeah. And there was one year that
you were in a sorority.
I mean, fraternity.
A fraternity.
But well, that's not the point. But the point is, we had to pay these dues, and we hated the guy who was in charge of finance. So then me and him were like, dude, let's just pay it in coins. So we went to like his bank, and we're like,
oh my god,
how much coins do you have in your coin tray? Oh, probably this much. I'm like, all right, give me all of it. So we put it all in a bag, and then we paid our dues. So he was called Coins. And then he had this thing that he'd always put a penny next to his little son Lázaro when he would study, because he was being an accountant. He was becoming an accountant. And then randomly after, when he passed away, we would find coins everywhere, pennies everywhere.
No way.
And his mom would always see it, and she'd like, oh, he's right there. It's like there's signs like that, you know, that you don't really want to believe them or you acknowledge them until something traumatic happens to you, when you're like, man, maybe something is trying. So when you were saying that, I'm like, man, I can relate to that. So that's why I got a little water right when you said that.
Yeah.
Because I kind of go through that almost on a daily with that. And the whole reason why I'm doing this, like my main purpose of why I'm doing this, apart from what I believe in, is for him. You know, it's because of him that I want to work so hard, because he was such a hard worker.
It gives you purpose. It gives you purpose.
It does. And it's a shame that is like the root.
That's what I'm saying. That
but it's now I'm so much more grateful.
Unfortunately, I feel like in life, you know, traumatic things happen, and that's when your perspective shifts. And unfortunately, you know, it takes things like that for you to realize some, I guess, like, for you to realize things.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sure, I would love my sister to be here, but I mean, there's nothing I can do to bring her back. And I have to accept things the way that they are. So it's like, what can I take from this? What can I learn from this? How is this going to change my life? How is this going to give me purpose? How is this going to,
what is the meaning of this?
What is the meaning of this?
What am I supposed to do now?
What am I going to take from this?
Why is this happening, and
like,
what do I got to do?
If I don't do anything with her passing or with your friends passing, then what did they pass away for? You get me?
Yeah.
Not that they passed away for anything specifically, but it's like, now that they passed away, it's not in our control. We can't do anything. So what are we going to do with it? What are we going to take from it? Because then it's like, I don't want to waste their life.
Yeah.
You know, I want to learn from it.
It's such a shitty situation, because again, it's like, it's that, because, you know, especially since we're young, we think we're invincible, that this is life, like we're just having fun, but then boom.
I saw a tweet the other day, and it's like, oh, the biggest lesson I learned this year is that don't think it can't happen to you. Because it's like, oh, you see, oh, this person's getting cancer, this person passed away in a car crash, this person that, and you're just like,
it could be you.
But that would never happen to me. And it was me.
If it was them, why not you?
It was one day I woke up and I get a call, your sister has leukemia. And I'm like, your whole world get flips upside down. It's like, what? I'm like, what do you do from there? It's a lot to unpack, you know.
So you have any?
No. I want to get into the direction of like the trauma bonding.
Okay.
How did you cope with that experience? Was it, you were in a relationship at the time?
Yeah, he was with me.
Perfect.
Yeah.
I want to get into.
And how did that translate into the relationship?
Yeah, because when that happened, I mean, I'm assuming that everything kind of, your perspective changed. Yeah. So I feel like you're approaching that as, you know, revisiting this relationship, maybe with that different perspective. The only thing is he reciprocating?
Yes. Okay. So putting him aside, well, well, not putting him aside because
We'll
it is a
get
trauma
into it.
bond.
We'll get
But
tie it together.
I guess when she first passed away, like, I don't think I applied. You know how we were just talking about how, what are you going to take from it, or what are you going to learn from it? What are you going to do with that, you know, traumatic event that just happened to you? I don't think I at least appropriately applied it to my life until this year. She made a year back in May. So when she first passed away, I was mad at the world. I was in a dark place. I felt like I was already in a dark place before. Like, I guess I would say, like, I was, I guess, depressed in a way. I was just not happy with my life. I felt stuck. I felt like I was in my comfort zone. I just felt like things weren't going the way that I felt like my life should be going. So when my sister passed away, I fell into an even darker place, like in a deeper hole. And I was just mad at the world. And I think I tried to find love, like not even romantic love, just love in general, in the wrong places, in the wrong things. You know, that I wanted to go out. I wanted to get fucked up and get drunk. And I wanted to be in the party life. And I wanted to get my mind off of things. You know, like, my mom was just so sad. And I just felt like so much pressure was on me now. You know, being the only daughter that she had left, that it was like, it was so, I guess, draining. It was so exhausting, you know, like, I don't blame her, but for me, it was very exhausting. Everybody was like, oh, you have to be careful. Oh, you have to be there for your mom. Oh, you have, and I'm like, I'm trying to be there for her, and I am there for her, but it's like, who's going to be there for me, you know? So I felt like I put too much responsibility on my partner, but I felt like I wasn't getting anything from it. You get what I'm saying? Like, I felt like I tried finding happiness in him, and then in going out, and then doing this, and I was just engaging in behavior that it wasn't me.
You're feeling a void.
Like, I felt like a void in my heart, in my soul, I guess.
Using whatever you could find.
Whatever I could find. Whatever came my way, I would take it.
Yeah.
And it wasn't, and I had like no self-control in that aspect. I kind of tried, you know, again, like, just taking my mind off of things. And, oh, you want to go here? Yes, let's do it. Oh, you want to go get drinks? Yes, let's do it. And then I would excessively drink. And I had, not that I was like ever an alcoholic, but
drinking more than you probably should.
But drinking more than I probably should, getting into situations that I didn't want to be in, doing things that I regretted the next morning, causing, you know, the depression to get worse, because it's like, you know, it would trigger my anxiety. Like, I would wake up and I'd be like, oh, I already know I did something that I didn't want to do. So I got into that cycle again. And in between that, like, I kind of felt like I was ignoring him. I was putting him to the side. I wasn't really, I guess, prioritizing the way that he felt. You know, like, because he was there for me. I have to give kudos and I have to give credit. He was there for me through it all. Every night that I was crying, every night that I felt alone, like, he was there by my side, and he never missed a day that he wasn't. And I guess I pushed him away in that aspect, because it's like, I wasn't happy. So I felt like I projected that unhappiness onto him and then onto our relationship. So since he was there, not only was he there through my sister's passing, he was there when I turned 21, you know, the big 21. He was there when I graduated with my bachelor's. He was there through very big events in my life, I would say. Probably the biggest events, you know, considering also my sister. So I felt like through all that trauma, through all that, you know, negativity, and, you know, even the highs, I got attached to him. Like, I did love him, and I do love him, but I felt like I got attached to him even more, where it was like, I'm not going to feel comfortable in my life if I'm not with him. I'm not going to feel safe if I'm not with him. I'm not going to feel happy if I'm not with him. You know, like, I feel like everything had to do with him. And then obviously when his faults came into play, I was like, I should be able to walk away from this. Like, you know, like, if I could lose I had the mentality, oh, if I could lose my sister, I don't care about losing nobody else. Yeah. So I became kind of heartless in that way. And I didn't want to think that way, because a friend of me put it into perspective for me, and she was like, I know you lost your sister, but that doesn't mean that you should be so cold-hearted to other individuals just because, you know, like, oh, like I said, oh, because I'm not scared. I mean, no, because I already lost the most important person in my life, then, oh, I don't care about losing anybody else. And it shouldn't be like that. I shouldn't push away people just because it's not going to hurt me, or the pain is not going to amount to the pain that I endured when my sister passed, you know?
Think of how impactful trauma is, dude, for that. It literally, like, changes the shape of your whole
Life.
way of thinking.
Yeah.
man,
Like
where you're
I couldn't let go. Like
Yeah.
even when I knew he was bad for me, I couldn't let go because the fear of being alone, the fear of having nobody there for me, because, you know, it was still recent. I was still going through so much, like mentally and emotionally. Like, you know, I lost my sister, like point blank. I lost my sister. And having the person that was with me through the next couple of months in my life and how I was adjusting and how I was feeling, I got attached to that. I got attached to his presence, you know, like I got attached, and like, it's like I needed it. Like as if he was like oxygen or something. And like, I don't know, I felt like at the same time, it's like, have you ever heard that saying that, oh, just because you're thirsty doesn't mean you drink poison?
I haven't.
I haven't heard that either.
But damn, but it makes sense.
Yeah.
I was thirsty and I drank poison.
It's almost like, or I think there's another one that's like seawater.
Yeah, I was
And
thinking that when you're in the ocean, you're stranded, you're so thirsty.
You drink seawater,
Yeah.
and that's just it
So
So I
causes
felt like
water.
out of desperation to have somebody there, and because I didn't want to be alone, and it's like, oh, I already lost my sister, I don't want to lose anybody else, and he was just there through it all, that it's like, you're my comfort, and like I just depended on that too much. And like bringing back to the situation of why we broke up, it kind of pushed me to be away from him because he didn't want anything to do with me. So it's like, wow, I really have no choice now. Like he really doesn't want to be in my life. He doesn't want anything to do with me. So that kind of gave me the push and like forced me to leave that relationship. So we never fully got back, right? I guess until now, I would say, or at least we're trying, whatever. So that's when I started getting into self-help books. That's when I started kind of like, I need to realign myself. That's why I feel like I didn't apply my sister's situation until this year, because I guess I was so taken up by being mad, by being angry, by, like I said, finding love in the wrong things and the wrong people, that it kind of blinded me and it kind of didn't let me see the bigger picture. So this year I started doing things for me. I started being comfortable in my solitude. I was okay with being alone. This was the year where, none of my friends are available to come eat with me, to go watch a movie with me, to come to the beach with me. I'm going to go alone. I'm like, why should I have to stop doing things just because my friends aren't available or because I don't have a partner to do it with? Because I was always that type of person that I was self-conscious, and I was like, oh my God, I'm going to look like a loser. I'm going to look super lame. Like, oh my God, this girl's alone. Does she not have friends? Does she not have a man? And it's like, I don't need anybody. I should be able to do things with or without people, you know?
And just imagine how many people are living their lives every day because of that. That they're like, oh, I'm just gonna stay home because nobody wants to do something, or I want to do this, but do you want to go? Do you want to go? Do you want to go? Oh, I'm just gonna stay home. Like,
yeah, no, and I was that person.
Stopping your life.
I've told people, oh yeah, I went to the beach, like in conversation, I went to the beach by myself and blah blah, and they're like, wait, you went to the beach by yourself? Right. Oh, I would never.
Are you
do
okay?
that.
It's like a crime.
Yeah,
what's going on?
It's like, oh my God,
but
why would you go alone? And I'm like, sometimes I choose to go alone. Sometimes I don't even want to be with anybody. Sometimes I just want to pop in my headphones, read a book, and just chill by myself. Like, not even because none of my friends are available. Sometimes because I choose to. Like, that's how comfortable I am with being alone. That I go to a restaurant or I go somewhere to eat and I just eat by myself, and it doesn't bother me. It used to bother me, but
so then how, now with all of this, because let's go back to the guy that you're sort of dating ish. Who knows? How are we now reapplying all of this into this second, third, 100th attempt? And do you think that this time now, the way that he's responding to you, given how you are now, do you think that it's in a better place?
Yes,
you can make
because when we were together, I just felt like we were doing the same thing every weekend. We were staying in, and then he would go and do this. It was pretty much like a routine for him. And I don't like living my life in a routine where it's the same or the similar thing every weekend. I like doing different things. I mean, I could go to the beach every weekend. I pretty much try to go every weekend. But in the aspect of like, you know, surrounding myself with, you know, different people, like not switching friends, but it's like meeting new people, I guess you could say, and getting to know them and seeing what their life is about. Like there's so many people that you're not going to know that you're going to relate to. And then you end up relating to, and you're just like, wow, where have I been? Where have you been my entire life? It's like, if I'm going to surround myself by the same people, it's like, I'm never going to, you know, get new perspective. I'm not going to get new insight. That's why I love, even if I have a conversation and never see you again, with that one conversation, I'm going to take so much from that. And it's like, I don't want to be in the same circle, in the same place, in the same, you know, in the same routine every single day. I want to be somewhere new, try new places, meet new people. Like, I'm a people person. I love meeting new people. Like, it's just.
No, and it's important. And that's the whole reason why we're doing this, right? it's just trying to have conversations with the people that can share their stories. And let me tell you, you shared a lot of deep stuff there that I'm hoping that anyone, like even me, I'm sitting across from you and I'm like, damn, like I can relate. I just want people to be able to listen and just be like, damn.
I know where she's coming from.
And that's important about meeting people. So even those people who are watching and they don't want to meet people, at least they're meeting you virtually somehow.
Oh yeah, I mean,
and that's the
I'm
beauty.
such a
Like,
people
oh
person.
look, there's someone that I feel like I
Yeah.
can even connect with myself, and that's pretty much the goal.
Prior to the Instagram where we follow each other,
Yeah.
I had another Instagram, and I wasn't like famous or anything like Instagram famous. I had like 8,000 followers.
$8,000.
I had 8,000 followers. We can cut that out because that sounded stupid.
No, it's
okay,
sorry.
I had like 8,000 followers, but like you have a couple thousand followers, and people think that you're super
Snobby
superficial
to
and
yourself.
snobby and full of yourself, and people would meet me and they're like, "Oh wow, you actually have a personality." And it's like,
This is me right
yes,
now. Really, this is
like,
kind of me right
yeah.
now. So since I met her randomly at the beach a couple of times, I'm like, I mean, you were cool. You're super
Yeah,
cool. But
but
I'm like, who is this girl? And now I'm
Yeah.
saying, I'm like, damn.
yeah, like once you start unpacking, you're just like, oh, okay, like you can have a conversation. You have a lot more than you show. Like
And another, I'm sorry.
No.
Another learning lesson here is don't judge a book by its cover. Because just because you probably look like a douchebag, when they sit and talk to you, they're like, damn, Marvin's not a
True.
Yeah.
True.
Like I don't know you, but it's like, oh, he's light skinned. Oh, he's
He
tatted.
thinks
Like,
tatted.
oh, he's definitely
Odell
a
Beckham
player.
Jr., he
He's
thinks
he's
he's
a
the
fuckboy. He's a player. But then like,
Okay.
I mean, I was
I'm right here, guys.
I'm like, oh, don't you have a book?
Yeah.
It's like,
Oh, you have a fourth? You do have the
Yeah,
fourth.
four.
You do.
okay, well, like this man is writing books and being a whole ass author, and you would have never expected that.
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
You think he's there being a promoter in Wynwood, and
Yeah,
you know,
you
like,
do look like a
oh,
promoter in
come to my
Wynwood.
table, and then the whole time,
Yeah.
you know, you have
How many girls
have
you
that
got?
Artist.
Yeah.
Bring girls.
Exactly.
Bring- So I mean, yeah, I mean, I've been hit with that, you know, like so many times. It's like, I'm not saying like I'm beautiful or anything, but it's like to some people I'm a pretty face, and then they're like, oh, but that's all you are, and it's like, okay, try me. But
Yeah.
that goes with anybody. Like you
Absolutely.
see somebody random and it's like, oh, like they don't, you know, like you meet them a couple of times, but they don't open up. But once you have that opportunity and you just start like dissecting them, and you're just like, oh shit, like there's a lot more to you to unpack.
I think that if we can just approach people with that mentality, and we also say the same thing about dating, because when we go into dating thinking, oh, this is a date, like boom, now we just box ourselves in. But if we go in there just like meeting new people, being open just to be nice to people, like even if it's at the grocery store. Sometimes I'm at the grocery store and someone's doing something and I'll be like, you don't get that one. Like, oh, this one's really good. Or I'll walk by someone's car, I'm like, those are amazing. Make sure you get two if they're on sale. And I've even had like these English muffins in my hand. Some guy walked by me and he goes, by the way, they're 2 for $1. So it's things like that. So instead, some people will probably be like, I don't want to talk to people, or like, why are you talking to me? And like people, like if we can just approach it being open and willing, it's like, what are we gonna lose?
I recently read the book, The 7 Spiritual Laws of Success. And in the book, it teaches you that whenever you meet somebody, you know, somebody completely new, you know, like that, like you just meet them, or, you know, a friend of a friend or whatever, you either compliment them or you send them a prayer. And like, you either compliment them verbally, like, oh, I like your hair.
Sure,
oh, I like your suit. Oh, I like your belt. And like, once you instantly compliment somebody, you see their energy like, oh, wow, thank you. Like yesterday I was at the drive-thru in Chick-fil-A, and the girl was like, oh, are you Allison? And I'm like, no. And she's like, oh, you're pretty, by the way. And that just completely shifted my mood. I was like, oh my God. And I learned that, yeah, when I meet somebody, I'm going to send them a quick prayer, or I'm going to compliment them. Oh, thank you for having me. Oh, thank you for having me on your podcast. Oh my God, I love your podcast. I've listened to your podcast a million times. Oh, or, you know, something in the conversation that came up, I'm going to send you like a mental prayer. Like, oh, I'm going to pray for you in that aspect.
Man, I love. It's funny because the other day I was at work and I work at a restaurant. One of the directors who does like one of the big ups, he pulled me aside. He's like, hey, I've watched your podcast and I really love it. And this guy's like an executive, and he does like multi-million-dollar contracts and everything like that. He's like, yo, I watch your podcast. I really like that. Can man and woman be friends? Like he was watching.
Can men and women be friends?
The
one that we did.
Yeah, we did. Like, and he watched it. He's like, bro, and
Can they?
Watch.
I'm kidding.
I'll put the link here and you can watch it. And he's like, bro, I watched it. You guys are doing an amazing job. I love what you guys are doing. And it's little things like that, bro. Like, you don't know how important that is. A lot of people, that's fuel.
Funny, like
it keeps them going.
I feel like you always get it when you most need it.
True. You don't know how words can really impact somebody's
the power
life.
that like the word holds, it's insane.
But you want to know, I also think it also comes down to who's receiving it, because if I'm going to be going somewhere, because I say it all the time, like if you say, hey, I like your suit, I'm going to be like, I know, that's why I wore it. I know it's nice, but thank you. But that's why I picked it out. But if I'm just like, I don't know, it's like when you least expect it, I think is when you need it most.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when the compliment hits the hardest.
Yeah,
because if you're looking around, or if you're trying to do something and they're like, oh, like, bro, Marvin, like, you just cut your hair. I'm like, yo, your hair looks nice. You're going to be like,
yeah,
I would hope
got
so.
it.
Like, I just cut my hair.
Yeah.
You know?
True,
But if like something else, like, or like his beard was super long. And I'm like, bro, you got to trim that shit. Then he trimmed it. And I'm like, yo. He goes, I know.
Thank
I know.
you.
It's things like that.
True,
So it's
true,
like when
true,
you're not
true.
really sure or whatever.
Okay, like brings me back to yesterday at the Chick-fil-A line. I had just gotten out of the gym. My hair, I was super sweaty. I looked super ugly. I shouldn't be eating Chick-fil-A after the gym, but whatever. Let's mind our business and right there. And I'm looking, no makeup, nothing. I'm sweaty. I look
Gross.
And this girl was like, oh, you're so pretty, by the way. And I'm like, thank
Right,
you.
yeah.
Like, I needed that. Thank you.
Yeah.
And it's just
Lifts
little
you up.
compliments like that. Oh, I like your hair. Oh my God, I love your shirt. Where did you get it? I'm like, I'm the type of person, I'll send you the link, everything. I'm like, oh, Fashion Nova.
Oh.
No, I'm going to send you everything.
Too bad I was the same way. I went to go get a massage. This was a couple months back, but I went to get a massage, and the two girls that were there at the front desk, they were talking about eating and food. And I was dieting. I was on keto and I hadn't eaten all day. I was fasting. And someone's like, oh man, I want to eat this. Look at this croissant, or I want a biscuit from Starbucks. And I'm like, I am so hungry right now. And they started laughing, and she was like, oh, I want to do a detox. I'm like, I'm currently doing a detox. And I'm like, let me send you what I have. Like, I'm like, oh, do you have your AirDrop on? Perfect. And I fucking sent it to her. And I'm like, it's on the 4th page. So like, we scroll through it. And also there's like other meal plans and stuff like that. If you want, go for it. But at least, you know what? You were talking about, you wanted to do a detox. This is the one that I'm doing. Play around with it. Maybe you like it, maybe you don't. But boom, I literally sent it just because of that. Because I wanted to.
Yeah, like, oh, where'd you get your necklace? Oh, at the mall. Like, no, I will
I
send
don't remember.
you what mall, what store, what location,
aisle, how much it was.
how much
Here's
it
my
was.
receipt.
Yeah, like I'm that type of person, because it's like I'm not gonna like keep safe something. Like, that's
feel you.
weird.
Yeah,
I
I
think that's
feel you.
weird.
All right, we got about 30 minutes.
No, not 30 minutes.
What do you mean?
Bro, I'd rather.
Well, no, we don't. I know.
I
we
don't
don't
want
have.
it. We're already 7 minutes.
No, I
7
understand.
minutes.
Yeah, we got to start wrapping. Man,
yeah.
we're going to have to bring you back on. Too bad I actually really wanted to come back on, because she has a lot.
Yeah, there's a lot to
Oh,
unpack.
thank you.
No, that's my train of thought.
You have something to say?
No,
She just talked about Chick-fil-A.
Chick-fil-A. No, I guess we can move further along. You said what else? You wanted to talk about trauma bonds, and then there
It was marriage, but dude, I don't want to rush that.
okay.
We can like leave that.
No,
No,
we
part
have to. We
Part
have
two,
to.
yeah.
Oh,
I mean, yeah, I would love to come back
Well,
on.
part 3, part 4,
shit.
part 5. Part 6.
So now, like, in terms of do you feel like you've grieved enough? You cope with the loss, like where you are now in terms of where you were at the beginning, like, because I don't want to say grieving is ever. It's a process that's never truly be done. You'll always grieve that person,
Mhm.
but in terms of where you are now, like you're mentally, like where your headspace, do you feel like you're in a much better place now than you were at the beginning? of this?
But before you answer that,
Yeah.
I want to piggyback off that,
Sure.
because Jose, your friend also, when he passed away, his mom to this day, this was like about 3-4 years ago, and to this day, she's still like destroyed from it.
Of course.
You know, so it's one of those things that what you're saying is you're never gonna stop grieving
No.
him. Some it's more impactful than others, but to his point,
Yeah.
where does that put you now?
So, I mean, compared to when it first happened, I remember like I would cry myself to sleep almost every night for the first couple of weeks, like screaming, crying, like I can't breathe, crying. At first it was a shock though. At first I felt like numb, I guess you can say. I think that's the word that I would use, because I felt like I wasn't reacting the way that everybody expected me to react. Like I wasn't okay at all. Like my mind was just completely like gone.
Yeah.
It was all over the place. But I kind of just felt there like what now? You know, and I just felt numb. So after that numbness kind of went away, it kind of started hitting me all over again. And it was just like the absence of her coming home and realizing I'm not going to see her physically anymore. That I'm not going to laugh with her anymore. You know, I have videos of her laughing, and like I'm not going to hear that in person again. I'm not going to fight with her again. We're not going to have those, you know, stupid arguments because she borrowed my clothes behind my back, or because I have to give her a ride last minute somewhere, or like things like that, or that like I get mad at her for doing things too early, like we were speaking about earlier in the conversation. And I was just in a dark place, like I said, finding love and all the wrong things and places. And I just felt like, I'm just like, what now? Like, why? And I don't know how you guys spiritually align, or I guess religiously align. But I believe in God and I believe in the universe, more universe than God. Like, I'm not a religious person in the aspect of, like being a Christian or anything. I really don't go to church because I've never really found a church where I feel comfortable. I feel like people just try to make profit out of it and go for the wrong reasons, whatever. That's another conversation for another day. Yeah. But I put my trust in the universe, and I was angry at God for a long time. Because, there's a saying of, why do good people have to die? And it's like, what wrong did my sister do to deserve this? And I was mad. I was like, why? What was the purpose? Why couldn't she continue living her purpose until she was 80 years old? I'm like, like that was my life partner. That is my life partner. But, physically, like I don't have her. Like that was a person that I was supposed to grow old with. That was a person that, I was going to be an aunt to. Like, she wanted kids. She wanted marriage. She wanted to live her life. She loved the beauty industry. She loved doing her makeup. She loved doing her nails long, super long. She loved the extensions, the lashes. Like she was super talented in that department. And she just loved the party life. And, I know she was like a wild child. And it's like, why does she have to be short-lived, And I was just angry for a long time. Very angry, because it's like, why? That was the question, why? I was doing a daily journal. And one of the questions were, if you could sit down and talk to God, what would be the first thing you would say? And the first thing I would say would be, why? And I was just angry and...
Listen, my coworker had the same exact story because another coworker. I have a lot of stories with my coworkers. One of my other coworkers, he had an accident and he was just being an idiot. And he was an F boy, thought he was whatever. So he had an accident and he got intubated. And eventually he's like, he has no idea how he's still alive today. Like there's no reason why he should be alive. His best friend's daughter was diagnosed with something. I forgot what it was. He told me the story. And in less than a year, it was like 2 years. It was under 2 years. The baby passed away because of whatever disease it had. And he's like, what the hell? Like me, I'm an idiot, like 20-something years old. I'm there on a motorcycle and I me pingué todo. I don't even know how I'm still alive. Yet, this poor little angel
who has done nothing,
did nothing. And she has, like, that's what her life is. Yeah. It is. That's all it is. A little over a year of just battling whatever it was that she had. And I'm like,
I don't think you should have that mentality either, because I don't think anybody deserves to die unless they're a murderer or like a rapist or something like that.
Sure.
But I don't think there's anything really bad. Like, I don't think there's anything that severe that you can do in life besides those two things that would ever, like, I guess, I deserve to die.
No, that's what he was saying. He's just like, man, I get so frustrated.
It gives you perspective, because it's like,
and then it challenges beliefs
not that he did it on purpose, but it's like, I pretty much asked for it and I'm still here. And then the baby who's literally innocent and hasn't done anything.
See, exactly.
What did they do to deserve that?
Exactly.
So it's just like angry, because it's like, what is the purpose of that? They've done nothing. So, it is what it is. But today, there's times where I'll be on the phone with my mom and she'll just break down crying, or she'll call me crying. And it's like a lot of pressure on me, like I'm always there for her, but it's just, again, it's a lot of pressure because nobody wants to see their mom go through that. Like my mom cries and that's it. I'm freaking Niagara Falls over here. Yeah. Like I hate seeing my mom cry, and it's always going to hurt me. But the pain of losing your own child, I obviously don't know, but I know that's more than I can even imagine from what I feel.
Yeah, no parents would ever have to bury their child. Usually the other way around. It's a circle of life. But
obviously when she got cancer, we were like, this is the worst thing ever. It can't get worse than this. So when she overcame the cancer, we kind of were like, okay, now we can breathe. Like now we can take that and then that breath, and it's like now we can like we have that weight off our shoulders. We don't have to worry about the cancer, because you think cancer and you think, oh my God, like death, and this is the worst thing that's ever gonna happen. So we kind of calmed down. We're like, oh, she's going to be okay now. Like, she's going to live. Like, she overcame this. She's a freaking soldier. And she was. And then something happens that wasn't even the cancer. And it's like, so you're telling me that she could have lived,
Oh, that's right. Yeah, because of the malpractice. That's right.
that she could have lived, or that it wasn't even the cancer that directly killed her. Like, we thought the cancer was, that's it. So when we overcame it in our minds, it's like, oh, we don't have to worry about anything anymore. Or at least as, you know, as extensive as we did before when she had cancer. So the fact that, you know, it wasn't even the cancer that killed her, it's just very frustrating because it's like.
I understand. Mariana, I hate to have to cut it short.
Yeah, we have to bring you back for sure.
There's a need. We need to bring you back. But we have to, because we do have to get the hell out of here. Now they charge us like $1,000. So I want to start getting into wrapping it up. So I'm only going to ask you for two more things. Okay. One is, with everything that's occurred, what is your mentality now? How do you think it's going to be beneficial now for the relationship that you have and moving forward? And then we're going to end it with final thoughts, briefly.
Okay.
Briefly.
So now with everything that you've gone through, what is your perspective now going into with you know, the second attempt, and now just with life in general? Want to end it positively.
Okay, so I mean, from I guess the spiritual awakening that we were talking about, I just want to stay true to myself, and I don't want to hurt anybody because I know I did hurt people before. I've been the bad guy. I've been the toxic person. I've been the one to break the heart, to, you know, to do something wrong, and no one likes to admit it. But I mean, it is what it is. I wouldn't be where I am had I not done or gone through the things that I did or went through. You know, that's the sad truth. That's everything we go through in this life shapes us to be who we are today. You know, all the traumatizing events, all the growing up, all the careers, all the friends, all the family members, everything that we have in life, all those little things start adding up to who we are today. So had I not gone through what I've gone through, I wouldn't be the person I am today. So for that, I'm thankful. For that, I'm grateful. And I think I just want to stay true to myself. I want to stay happy, and I want to be at peace. And I have been. So if I'm going to be with somebody, it's because I'm going to share it with them. It's not because I want to add stress into my life or argument or unhappiness or stress or anything like that. Like, I just want to share the state that I am. Yeah. I want to share that with somebody. I want to be happy. I want to travel. I want to learn. I want to grow. I just want, you know, to just continue the track that I am on, you know, but with somebody else. You know, it's nice to be in love. It's nice to have somebody there, taking it day by day. Like, I'm not the type of person who thinks into the future. I don't care what's going to happen. Like, I like to prepare for the future in finance and career. You know, I have to be, you know, like, I'm not stupid with my money. I like to save. I like to be prepared for my bills. You know, I became a homeowner at 22. So it's like, that's something that I have to be prepared for. That's something that I have to be ready for, you know. And then career wise, what's going to keep giving me income? What's my plan for the future? As far as experiences, traveling, friends, relationships, I take that day by day. I don't like to think about yesterday. I don't like to think about tomorrow. How I feel today is how I feel right now. And that's how I act. That's how I act on. That's what I like to do. That's what I like to think. And it is what it is, day by day, and we'll see what happens. But I don't like to think far ahead in that aspect.
Yeah, I see you as someone who's just very open and willing to accept what's being thrown at you, and then you work with that to, you know, kind of you like change it and make it good, or like you learn something from it. You always accept it as something, an opportunity to better yourself. No matter what it is. I
just flow through the universe, I guess. And whatever the universe throws at me, I try to accept it as much as I can. I don't like to force things. You know, if you have to force something, then it's not really meant to happen. It's not really.
So one of the first things I said when we were talking about your relationship, you guys were forcing it at first. I'm hoping that this time is a little bit of a better turnout.
Yeah.
All right. So, Mariana, look, we always end the show with what we call a final thoughts. Final thoughts is pretty much any advice you'd give to yourself, any advice you want to give to someone, or something that you believe by, or you stand by. So you can say it to the camera, you can say it to us, again, like a sentence or two, and then we can sign off.
Let me think about.
Yeah, because you said a lot of stuff, which it could be like a final thoughts, like, you know, stay true to yourself.
It's like a summary, I guess.
Yeah,
brief summary.
Stay true to yourself.
I just feel don't let other people like dim your light. I consider myself a light, like a star, I guess you can say. And there's people who are gonna try to like dim it or turn it off, and I don't want people to ever allow other people to do that to them, you know, because I've seen it, you know, with my parents, I've seen it with my friends, I've seen it happen to me, and I don't want, you know, again, like your light, don't let people dim it.
That is beautiful.
I like it.
It's so important to have control over your own emotions and yourself, and not allow someone else to manipulate, or allow someone else to manipulate themselves into.
And dictate how you live your life and how you shine, essentially. And how
exactly.
you affect other people.
How we shine.
How we shine.
I mean, you and I both know, I don't know if you ever lost anybody close to you, but I mean, given that we've lost people, like you realize how delicate life is, and that you don't want to waste time being mad over things that you can't control, or stressing things that don't necessarily need to be stressed. Like, just live your life. Like, take things as they come and go. You know, if something's bound to, like, you know, not be in your life, just let it go. You know, just be at peace, and be at peace. You know, like, and I'm sorry, I know you guys need to go, but I also read that the goal is not to be happy, the goal is to be at peace. Because it's normal to feel emotions as far as anger, frustration, sadness, happiness, excitement. You are always going to feel all those emotions. So it's pretty much impossible to be happy 24/7, you know? So the goal is to be at peace, that no matter what emotion you're feeling, you know that you're going to be who you are at the end of the day, that it's not going to disturb where you are in life, that it's not going to disturb who you are in life, and that you know, that you're at peace no matter whether you're happy or angry or upset or excited or confused or frustrated, that you're going to still be at peace. You know, it's impossible to be happy 24/7. I would hope, you know, I strive to be happy, but the goal is to 24/7 be at peace.
You at peace?
I am at peace. I'm whole. I like that. I approve this message.
The Coffee Breakup approves.
Yeah.
Stamp of approval.
Mariana, thank you so much. It was thank you so much for coming on here, being vulnerable, talking about these difficult conversations. But that's what this is all about. So we appreciate you coming on and being open.
Thank you guys for having me.
It was awesome. Literally,
Part 2 will be happening
beyond our expectations.
Yeah.
Well, you didn't even know what to expect.
I didn't know, but
from the little beach days, you were like,
I'm like, who's this guy? This girl just hitting a volleyball around, and look at this.
We're pretty good with predicting. We have good guests. We're pretty good with that.
I would hope so.
At this point, yeah. But
we're very strategic.
Yes,
and I think I made a good strategic move.
but definitely being here is a lot more than what I expected. Like,
really,
I feel like good.
Are you at peace?
I'm at peace.
Are you at peace?
I'm at peace.
Here at the Coffee Breakup, we believe in peace too.
We believe in peace.
Thank you so much, guys. It's time to break up. So to sign off, remember.
No, but we'll get back together. Don't worry.
No, yeah. Well, we will maybe. It's like one of those toxic relationships,
exactly,
you know. We'll
exactly.
revisit. Before we go, please remember to like the video down below, subscribe to the YouTube channel, ring the notification bell.
Website coffeebreakup.com.
If you're on the go, Spotify and iTunes, you can listen to us. Social media, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and TikTok. With that being said,
thank you so much, guys, for the support.
Mariana,
Yes,
you're awesome.
Thank you.
See you guys later.
Ciao.